Hi, fourth grade artists. I'm super excited to continue our study of artist Grant Wood. This is the piece of art Grant Wood is probably best known for. It's called American Gothic, and he created it the year he finished college. He drove around the Midwest, and particularly in Iowa, where he was from, and he met lots of farmers and their families and talked to them about what they were doing. Remember, this was a period called the Industrial Revolution, where many people were leaving farm life and going to the city, and the people that were left to farm and to work out in the country, it was hard. They would get up early in the morning, work all the way through the day, and go to bed tired. And Grant Wood was really impressed with how hard they worked. This picture is actually of a brother and a sister. You might have first thought it was a husband and a wife, but Grant Wood met a lot of siblings. So if a family had a farm and the parents passed away and they left it to the brother and the sister, that they would be carrying on that farm. And so he wanted to show that. So he came back and he painted this piece and he entered it in a contest, and it won a very famous prize at the Chicago Art Institute. And it got a lot of attention. A lot of newspapers featured it around the country. And when the people of Iowa saw it, they were really upset at first because they thought that Grant Wood was sort of poking fun of them and making them look very stern and maybe a little grouchy. And Grant Wood had to go back and say, oh my gosh, no. Completely the opposite. I am so impressed with you. I'm so impressed with your work. And so it was a really interesting comment on that period as well. This has been seen over the years in so many different ways, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So this is an example of how somebody took Grant Wood's picture and put their own interpretation on it. They are keeping all the elements of the picture except for the faces. So it still has the house, it still has the clothing, but the faces are going to be different, and that's what we're going to do for our project this week. So your challenge is to come up with two faces, and they can be cartoon characters, they can be book characters. They don't have to be from the same like book or same cartoon, like we know Kermit and Miss Piggy are always together, but if you want to choose two different ones, that's fine. But what you want to challenge yourself to do is retain all of the other elements, and here's what I mean by that. I've got some examples. So this is somebody's preliminary sketch that they did for me, and they did a great job of getting the house and her clothing and his clothing, but changing the faces. Here's another example. Again, some cartoon characters you might recognize. I will tell you that the thing you want to focus on is getting the house. So getting a white piece of paper, what I did is I pulled up this image, which you can do on the PowerPoint I just showed you, and I started by sketching out the house because I found that even though I wanted to do the faces first because that's the part I got to choose, I needed the house as my background. I'm doing it really lightly because I want to maybe go back and change. So I'm pausing there because I think her head's going to go about there. And I'm going to go over, there we go, sorry, my pencil was running out, and pause. I'm noticing that the house has this part of the roof. It has this part of the roof. And friends, the window, let me show you really quickly, this window, this is why this is called American Gothic. This window is from a period of art called the Gothic period, and it was often churches. So you were seeing these beautiful windows. And so Grant Wood is making a reference to that period with this beautiful window. So you want to make sure you capture that window in your house, okay? So you're going to sketch that all out just like these artists did here in pencil. And then depending on the supplies you have at home, it's unlimited options. You could go back and outline it with a black marker. You could go back and outline it with colored pencils. You can use Sharpies, crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever you have to finish this off. You might have noticed in some of these pieces that we saw that they tried to use the actual colors of the people. Like in this one, they changed more, right? They've got Princess Leia's actual outfit and Darth Vader's, but in this one, they just have the faces and they kept the clothing. I would love for you to try to keep the clothing because I think it keeps it more authentic to Grant Wood's, and it makes it a little bit funnier, right? Because you've got the faces and then the clothing. But I'd love to see what you are going to do with it. Again, really focus on getting that house in the background, and just spend some time observing the actual American Gothic painting and seeing how close you can get to the way it's set up. Let me know if you have any questions, if you need any supplies, and I can't wait to see these masterpieces. Have fun. Thanks. Bye.